Be mindful of your journey, of the stops that you make along the way, of the things that you attach to, the way you talk to yourself. Go left when you ordinarily go right. You want something different, do something different to create it. Hey, welcome back to Authentic Conversations. My name is Susan.
And I'm Amarelis.
And we want to welcome you here today because we're changing it up. I don't know, every once in a while, you just got to do something different. So I had the honors of doing the intro today. How about you, Amaryllis? You take
I'm
the lead.
great.
What's going on?
I'm just giggly right now. So
So the giggles are contagious. We like that, right? There's nothing better than a smile. Nothing better than a smile. Smile lights up the room. And when we smile, the world around us feels our smiling energy. So it's interesting because, you know, whatever it is, it shows up and then it correlates, right? So here we are, we're talking about 14 mindfulness trainings. Today, we're going to do 12, 13, and 14 so that we're going to move on to something new, different, the same, offered in a different way, probably. But number 12 is reverence for life. Right. And so you can't have reverence for life without understanding gratitude and joy, you know, so appreciating life, recognizing, you know, the lives of others, you know, taking care of ourselves and our surroundings so that others can enjoy their purposeful life, you know. So so reverence for life, like, you know, finding joy, and finding joy takes gratitude. So when we're grateful for something, it brings us joy. So if you're ever struggling with joy, you know, instead of, you know, checking off the negatives or checking off the things that are dragging you down, like, you know, let's get a tick box going of the things that we're grateful for. And, you know, you can start it by just simply taking an inhale. Because when you recognize that you're breathing, you have more going right for you than wrong. So if you can use your breath as an identifier of something to be grateful for, right, then it can go from there. Oh, well, so I'm grateful I'm breathing. Oh, okay. And I'm grateful that I can think, walk, talk, move, shift, change, grow, communicate, you know, like there's all kinds of things to be thankful for before you get out of your own way. And then I'm thankful for the rain or the sunshine, and I'm thankful for, you know, the air I get to breathe, that it's clean, and the water that I get to drink, that, you know, it's not polluted. So yeah, you can always find gratitude. So, you know.
I love it. We are always talking about the same thing, you know, gratitude. How do the lens that we see things, right? Like, is it half glass full or empty, right? Gratitude of just, like you said, if you wake up, I have a bed sheet, I have sheets, I have a pillow, there's a
Yeah,
bed,
a
I brush
family
my
that
teeth, I have
loves
toothpaste.
me.
I mean, even toothpaste, like, do you think that we are just so used to just thinking of all these things that we have a toothbrush?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can start off so small like that, guys. Just a little list. All right. Which is the next one, Susan?
Attitude. Well, so attitude of gratitude, right? Check, got that.
Mm.
Attitude of gratitude. What is your attitude? My attitude is leaning towards gratitude today. So the next one falls right in line, right? It's generosity. So number 13 on the 14 mindfulness trainings is generosity, right? And that's, you know, that's giving. When we have an abundance of something, instead of hoarding it or, you know, looking to create power from it or power over others from it, we give back, you know. So generosity is that we lift ourselves into a position where we're able to extend a helping hand to lift others or to teach others how to lift themselves, right? So generosity, you know, is not you know, it's giving, but it's not just monetary. You know, we can be generous with our resources, right? Our money, or, you know, loaning people, you know, material things that they might need, or giving people material things. But we also want to be generous with our time,
Mm-hmm.
generous with our attention, generous with our words, kind words. Generosity with kind words goes a really long way, because you might be reminding someone of something that they can be grateful for, which then brings them joy. Gosh, see how that works?
Yeah.
So generosity, I mean, some of the most generous people never exchange money. It's not about buying things or satiating people, or, giving them things, as much as it's giving them tools, or giving them confidence, or giving them reassurance. So generous with my words, that's on my list of things to be. Oh, another breath in. Gratitude for this conversation this morning.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mindfulness of like helping each other out, even when being accountable with each other, right? We talk about our cheerleaders and our team and who's around you. We've just talked about the 5 people that surround you.
yeah,
It all goes with that, right? Like, who's generous with you to give you an ear when you need to call them because you just need to talk.
right, right.
Yes.
And I think, like, we also have to be generous to ourselves,
Mm.
right? We have to be able to treat ourselves to what we need. If we need rest, a form of generosity would be allowing ourselves, or giving ourselves permission to rest, even if it's, chaotic. We have to be able to give ourselves permission to, be generous with our tears and our grief. And it's like, generosity extends, everything that extends outward also spirals inward. So it's like we pay attention to the outside to figure out what we need on the inside. And yeah,
You
super
can't
important.
pour from an empty cup, right?
You got to fill, right? So yes, correct. So you can be kind and generous with things, but if they're coming from an empty place, then you're just depleting the source. So how long does the source last if you're depleting it? So we want renewable sources, right? So we gain energy, we give energy. It's a balance. It's always a balance, give and take.
Always. I mean, ourselves as moms and caregivers, right? Like that. I love now with the new technology of sharing our worlds, which is completely new, right? New energy. We talked about this, the things that, you surround yourself with on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. So, being mindful of what's coming in, because it's the energy that's going out. And I love when I see these new empowerment between women to women, right? Like, let's lift each other up. And moms, changing this mindset that if you are a mom, you should be tired and giving and because that's your responsibility, or a parent or a caregiver, because sometimes we are guardians to others,
Right.
and not taking care of ourselves. And that is an old mindset, because we now are realizing that we can't pour from an empty cup. We have to take care of ourselves. We
That's
have to
right.
take that.
That's right. And, if you, it's like changing the story. We're rewriting history right now in all of this chaos. People, like, they wonder why it has to be so chaotic. They wonder, what I mean, why it's so uncomfortable, and why so many things, because we need these kinds of moments to shift, to rewrite the stories, to figure out, the whole pandemic drove people inside, literally. Now I could say that figuratively too, but right. So literally and figuratively, the pandemic drove people inside. You know, People started to peel back what lies beneath, because they could no longer fulfill or satiate themselves from the external stuff. So they had to develop a relationship with their internal stuff. And, that wasn't easy.
No,
That wasn't
no.
easy.
I mean, we make fun of the fact that, like, oh, Little House on the Prairie, right? Like, everyone together. And then all of a sudden we were like, oh,
Live in it. Live in Little House on the Prairie.
everyone is in the house. No one is going nowhere. And then
Right.
all of a sudden it's an eye opener to realize We spend so many hours away from each other.
We don't even know each other. Who are these people I live with? Who are these people I live with? Or people who live alone,
You know.
who don't realize, the power that comes from community.
Mm-hmm.
And having to be creative and resourceful on finding their ways to connect, because there's a lot of solitude and isolation,
Yes. Yes.
a lot
And
of time to look in.
that's how we got with the Zoom, it's just like, do we grow apart or do we get back to being together in other ways,
Yes,
in other ways? So
I think
guys,
it's all.
the tools are there now. I mean, there's too many tools to the point where it gets overwhelming. I get that. So again, goes back to the breath, back to
Yeah,
centering. Okay.
a number one.
I don't, we can put so many, I don't have, I need, I want, when you already have.
And you just need the remembering or the reminder,
And that's what we're here for. All
what you
right. What's the
already
next?
have. So the
Which was the next
last,
one?
number 14, drum roll please, is right conduct. Right conduct. What's right for you? Taking right action, morally, respecting others and others' things and others' opinions. It kind of comes full circle, right? So number one was openness, and then not attachment to views and freedom of thought. And, really it comes back to, once we have all of this awareness, let's take the next right step. What is the next right move? What is the next right thing on my path, with respect for all other, living beings, things? Yeah. So it's taking awareness and good moral character and moving into the next right step.
Okay. Awareness. I'm trying to take this one. This one I'm having a little bit, I need more breaking down.
Okay. So we
Awareness.
have a moral compass, right?
Values,
And,
right?
we understand universally what's right.
Okay.
So in order to preserve the happiness of ourselves and others, we must respect the rights and commitments of ourselves and others. And it really boils down to boundaries, healthy
Boundaries.
boundaries.
Oh,
We will treat our bodies with compassion and respect. So it's not just the external, right? Creating happiness and joy through respectful existence, right? But drawing those lines, not allowing yourself to be manipulated or trampled on or walked over or ignored or stepped over, right? So that really does come back to boundaries. So as much as right conduct is, what's the next right thing for you? What is the next right thing for you? That makes sense and that you can stand behind, because people will challenge you. So if it's your right conduct, you know what I mean? Like, you have to not worry about being challenged by others, because we are constantly challenged by others. That's how we renew our conviction to what's right. I sent it to you in a text message yesterday, right? So here's my example. Imposter syndrome. Who am I? Who are we to think that, we can just pop ourselves out there online and talk about stuff that's like so super important? Well, we're two human beings who have something to share and offer, right? So I have to create a boundary with myself not to get caught up in the whole imposter syndrome thing. Does that make sense?
right. So you're saying imposter for yourself, like because you start judging yourself, like, I have thought about this all the time, like you're saying, who are we to talk about this? But then every time that I read anything that has to do with just these laws that we're talking about, right? Or the laws of oneness, right? That our energy, our light, this light that we give, we light up we can give it to somebody else. And then
And if
that person goes
person,
back to what you just said about giving, right? It's not always about monetary of giving to somebody. If you just give a little bit of love, a smile to a stranger,
yes,
that a conversation that you have with someone in the elevator, and you don't know that because you were kind to this person, all of a sudden you gave them this light of changing their mind that they were about to do something else.
that's right. But the boundary comes in that you're not setting expectations for something from them in return, right? So
Correct.
yeah, so good healthy boundaries create next right moves.
Because then in our mind, in society, you start judging yourself and you go, well, who am I to give advice? Or am I giving the right advice? Or why do I have a podcast? And what are we talking about? Should we have a special guest? And who are these guests? And are we talking about religion or,
Yeah,
I mean, this is energy, right? We are talking about the universe, oneness, love, God, whatever that is to you, with respect. Because again, it goes back to your opinion and your values. You can share it, but you're not saying that your way is the only way.
that's right, because we have openness and we're non-harming and we're just simply exercising our freedom of thought. We're having these dialogues, we have similar conversations all the time. If other people resonate with that, then maybe they hear something, that allows them to shift in some way. And that's it. And that's it. So who are we not to? Right. So, but the boundary line that we have to define for ourselves. So we often think of boundaries as like outside, that person can't tread in my space, that person, whatever that, but boundaries with yourself to to set to release the expectations, to set the tone, to move through the discomfort. We have to have boundaries.
Yes.
Mhm.
And whatever calls you, you have to, the people around you, when they're not understanding what's happening, like myself, I love rocks, I love crystals, I'm a crystal
Wash them all, bathe them all. It's a
full
full moon
moon.
eclipse in Scorpio. There's a lot going on, but anyway,
But
that's
the comments come around, right? Like I remember taking a long time for that to be around my space with my partner, because of the shyness of thinking, am I going to be judged? Is he thinking that I'm worshiping something? Or our religions are different, our thoughts are different, and obviously it brings us who we are together. But there has come a point when there's sometimes I'm like, okay, that joke is not that funny, like,
right.
or stop picking on my rocks, because it is part of who I am and I love them and I want them around here.
Right. Right. And so you do.
And you do. And then others adjust and they go, oh, I learned something new about you.
Yes, yes. But you stood up for yourself, or you created space, you held space for yourself, and put a boundary up against your own indecisiveness. You know what I mean? Against your, yeah,
Yeah, of course, because I sometimes you can't explain why something is
important.
an energy pulling, right? Like there's this energy that pulls you, that you're just like, I've just realized I have all these rocks. What's up with that? But I don't know about it. But we always talk about energy, right? And even anyone who follows law of attraction and the law of energy, right?
Right.
We are like a radio of magnitude. So we attract what we are putting out. And so if that is what's making you happy,
Then why would you deny yourself that for fear of what someone else might think? So right conduct comes back to, what is the next right move for you? What is the next right opportunity that you're creating or that will show up?
and again, here's the map. We talk about this, right? Here's the valleys, and then here's this goal. Talk
Yeah.
about goals, right? Setting up all these things, and
Goals
then
are great, expectations, not so much.
give yourself to enjoy it. I mean, I wake up when we do our recordings, and I'm excited. And that's all. That's it. Is just showing up.
Yeah. That's all you can do. Show up. Now is all there is. How are you feeling right now? How are you feeling right now? That's all there is. That's all there is. All these mindfulness trainings, just remind us to live in the now, that now is all we have. And, we take care of ourselves, and, we allow ourselves generosity and gratitude and respect and reverence for all those around us. And, we make the next right choice. And, and that puts us in line with who we really are. And isn't that the goal?
Yes. And that is what's happening, when we talk about when everyone had to go inward,
Mm-hmm.
then people had to take a time to say, wait, I really don't think I like this job.
Yeah.
What
Or this behavior.
Right.
Or the situation. I never thought about it before, but
Right.
now I have
Because
choices.
you just were going autopilot. I was just telling somebody that I can, it's so easy for me to get into autopilot sometimes. And I have to remind myself to kind of break the routine, because that's what we are. We're human beings. We're creatures of habits. And so the other day I was going to go to the flea market, and I left the house earlier so that I had enough time to stop by, because I don't make the time to do. And I've been wanting to go. And I went straight to the parking lot of my job.
Whoops, because you weren't even thinking about it.
And then an easy thing, right? Because then comes the part where you're like, maybe I shouldn't go. I'm already here. Let me just go to work. And I said, no. I'm going to back out this car and I'm going straight there. And I've been looking for these chairs. And again, this is just material or whatever, but I also was not paying all this money for these chairs. Right. And I'm like, I'm going to wait. The right time is going to come. The right chair is going to come. So I get to the store, and as I'm walking in, outside are these amazing chairs, regular chairs, guys. Okay, 2 of them are from IKEA, whatever. $2, okay?
because when you do something different, you get something different. $2. I love it.
Oh,
chairs
yeah.
in the back of the car.
4 chairs for $8.
And you can actually sit on them.
Yes.
Pretty impressive. I love it.
And then it changes your energy, right? Like, you're so excited. The day just looks brighter. You found chairs.
Yeah.
I
love chairs.
Like, you're just powerful. You're like, I'm gonna go play Powerball. Maybe I'll win. But it's the energy. When you change it, all of a sudden you're starting to look at things differently. Like, you're like, well, if I found chairs, what else can I find in this universe?
And if you want something different, you have to pull yourself out of the rut or the routine, right? So you have to do something different. So you have to make the left turn instead of the right turn, and take a different drive to work, because you never know what you might see, and that's the thing. It's just living in the moment. It's just remembering that we're humans, that we're having experiences, that they don't come pre-labeled, and that, we really just need to have the awareness of what's around us and enjoy and find gratitude, that attitude of gratitude. I'm grateful I have a car to drive in, I'm grateful there's gas. I'm grateful.
And I'm great, if you're running out of gas, like, and then you're like, instead of getting upset, you go, okay, I have to find a new gas station, and remind myself to. And then you break that routine, and you go into this gas station, and then you have this amazing conversation, or meet somebody, and it would have never happened.
That's right.
If it's like, if you're running late, we talk about this all the time. It's like the energy when you feel, I need to turn left. Why am I turning left? And then you get home and you find out that if you would have kept going straight, there was an accident.
Yeah.
When you quiet the mind and you do, whether it's joining us Thursday nights, guys, please, we have it for free. It's a time that we want to again offer. It's just about, offering. Susan is always there every time to remind us, because we are giving you some tools. We also want to offer those tools of just quieting the mind. And when you do that, you have more time to hear yourself with the connection.
That's right. Your inner knowing, your inner guidance system. Yeah.
Because the little talks of the monkeys in the flying monkeys of saying like, who do you think you are? You need to keep going this way because that's the way to work.
That's right. Don't turn. Don't turn.
Don't turn.
Don't do
And
anything different. Don't
no,
break the
right.
routine.
Oh, I overslept, and then you're just mad at yourself because you overslept. And it's like, no, my body was telling me I needed to rest.
Yeah.
And I love this part of me lately. Like I remember when I used to stress about being late.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, if I see that even if I'm going to be not late, I'll just call and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Because I want to be responsible. I love what I do. Okay, so I'll call work or I'll call whoever I'm meeting and saying, hey, I think I'm going to be late.
Traffic's a little heavy, running a little behind, whatever it is. Yeah.
Right. And then you let it go. And guess what? I'm not late.
You get there on time.
And everybody makes fun of me because they're like, you always think you're running late and then you show up. And I said, you know why? Because then all of a sudden, when I take away that obstacle of stress.
Yes. Everything's smoother.
Yeah. What can you control? Can't control the weather, but I can control a phone call, get rid of that situation and that energy of anxiety.
And you release that. And then,
And then you say, okay, I'm going to make myself a coffee because you're like, I'm going to skip the coffee because that's not what I need. And you're there. So thank you, Susan. Are we good with time or we're done?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to end it, and so here's the challenge for this week. We talked about, last week, the 5 friends thing.
Yes.
This week, take a different route. Even if you're going to the same place, just take a different route. Notice things differently. Make that extra stop or, shift something different, just take the left when you ordinarily go right.
Don't take the highway, drive local.
Yeah.
See what's around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So that's the challenge.
That's the challenge. Thank you.
Be mindful.
Susan.
Be mindful of your journey, of the stops that you make along the way, of the things that you attach to, the way you talk to yourself. Go left when you ordinarily go right. You want something different? Do something different to create it. Thanks, Amaryllis.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
And I did the intro today. Gosh, who knew we were going here? It's awesome.
I love it.
All right. Well, till next time.